I'm looking at your background. We have about a dozen short feature films in just over a decade. So I get a sense that perhaps you're pulling from personal experience with Dormitory, because Dormitory, I imagine it's a very specific world, and to really get a sense of what those confines are, you'd have to live it. Or I was thinking perhaps he's lifting from one of his short films, and perhaps there's a creative connection there.
I've been working on this project for quite a while now, and when I was at school, at New York, I had a chance to make some directing exercises in this some sort of like similar school that is in Brooklyn, and then moved on to making a short film that is really related to this core of this issue I'm dealing with in my feature film. And I was lucky enough to make this short and explore the atmosphere and explore the theme further, see how it's gonna look like. So it was a very good exercise, in a way, very good exercise for me that made me feel completely ready and emotionally fulfilled, and make me ready to further to realize this film.
The protagonist, a lot of the fellows, if you look at all the projects, it's people of a certain age demographic, and you picked a very select one. It's preteen. It's still a child.
Yeah. He's 11, going through puberty, and
so there's a lot of chaos, just hormonally. There's chaos.
Exactly. There is also this, under as a lot of hormonal, sexual, undertone. It's a boyhood coming of age story that deals with boyhood sexuality and also being in a very strict environment that is filled with fear of God, and so these kids are feeling pushed into a corner with all those repressed emotions and at some point it has to somehow burst out of them. So because they are growing, because they are coming of age, it's almost natural to include those elements to the story. The story basically takes place, in the northwest Turkey, in a very in a Muslim community, where this kid has to navigate between his father's expectations and this rough environment that also has expectations from him, which is being the best, a very good person, a good Muslim.
How did you visually see this as you were writing it?
It's interesting that you mentioned sound, because I just met with a composer that I really admire, and we talked about the project and how we can, further enhance our relation and maybe work together.
Yeah.
And I was pitching him the idea and what I really want to achieve with the music, and I showed him this part of the short film that I shot, and it's. I think it's a lot of elements that comes together and makes this one idea to work emotionally. This it's either sound or cinematography or this. Of course, first of all, the story itself, and I am feeling quite excited to bring all these elements together. Visualizing this, thinking this in visual terms, it's not hard. I mean, of course it is challenging, but it's just because I am very personally attached and I have my first-hand experience in a place like this when I was the kid. It just makes things easier for me in that sense, but also I have to put my distance to it and not to get too attached, so that I can really focus on really executing the story.
I was wondering if you had an eureka moment, an epiphany that said, hey, you know what?
You know,
maybe I want to tinker around with this, or maybe this.
I
gotta
had
keep on...
a lot of those moments, like epiphanies, like in each single meeting, because I felt that I was connecting with each one of the advisors because they were so passionate and they were so ready to help us with, you know, as an artist, you know, doubt could be an asset, or you know, it could be
the driving force.
Enemy. It's and being here, you know, being acknowledged, getting this acknowledgement makes me feel confident, and also makes me feel very motivated, so that I can go back and, you know, continue my work and make the realize this film.
Yeah, the
so
next
I'm
steps.
very excited for the, and I'm very happy to be part of this fantastic program.
Turkey represents.